Okay, hello, greetings and welcome. All right, so what we're going to talk about is some methods of interacting with your spiritual environment so you can activate listening skill and you can activate power over that environment. So with the most basic method is we start vital breathing. We concentrate the willpower on the stretch and breath into the space between your hands, and then condense life force. As soon as you start condensing life force, it's because your will and your body is generating life force, you can feel it. There's interaction and accumulation of energy on the next layer beyond the physical body. So you very quickly start to feel, oh, there's energy between my hands. So this interaction generates sensitivity, and the sensitivity allows more interaction and more control. So this listening skill, the feeling skill and power, they go hand in hand. You increase your listening skill, you increase your power. You increase your power, you can increase your listening skill, and they'll rise together. You can't increase power if you can't feel the power. You need at least one of your sense gates to be interacting to raise the power. Now, some people feel, some people hear, some people see, some people smell, some people taste the spiritual environment. But whichever one it is for you, it's very important that you move between qualitative and quantitative. So how do we do this? Once we've got to the point where, yes, I can feel it, now how do I increase my listening? You just simply pay more attention. Instead of focusing the will to increase the amount of breath and energy there, you just pay attention to it. You discern the energy. You identify, I am this energy. And as you identify, I am this energy, you'll start to be aware of more qualities within the energy, more qualities within that vital force. And then you move from that deep identity, I am this energy, and your will just start to express itself again. So you move between the quantitative power and the qualitative awareness, backwards and forwards. If you release time, the 4-cycle breath technique, then we end up with astral energy, what they call Qi. You go through the same process. You slow everything down to the level of Qi that you want to work with, and then you pay attention to it. You identify, I am this Qi. Let your mind completely absorb, become the frequency of your attention. As soon as you have that, then it becomes responsive to your will. You'll notice that the more will you put into it, the less discernment you have. That your discernment goes down as your will goes up, and your discernment goes up as you drop your will off, because there's only so much of your mind that can be interacting, and it's doing it willfully or through listening, through discerning. So this balance between the energy is very important. Now we move this to the eye consciousness. If you want to see energy and be clairvoyant, you vital breathe through the eyes and you start to exchange energy with the tree, and you'll start to see the vitality of the tree. Now, as we slow this down into the astral, we go through the same process. We identify, I am this life force, I am this tree, and just simply discern, identify with it. And then we move into the will. We apply the will and we energize the tree. And this is where the tree Qigong exercises come in, where you go through the toroidal field of the tree and you reticulate the energy through the ground and you pull it up through the tree, up to the top, to the drip zone. You feel the sun on the leaves, feel the photosynthesis, and you go through the cycle. So it's an interaction between listening and willing. You increase the flow with your will, and then you just simply discern the natural cycles of the tree. And then you go back to will again. Then you start seeing and feeling and hearing the consciousness of the tree, the emanation of the tree, the power of the tree, the genetic heritage of the tree, the mind substance of the tree. All these layers that exist within it, your mind will start moving between those layers and you'll start experiencing it. Now, this interaction is what triggers it. If you sat back and just tried to crystal ball gaze and peripheral vision and waiting for something to happen, it's not. But by interacting vitally, interacting astrally, interacting with the spirit, with the tree, touching the tree, communing with the tree, becoming one with it, then you start activating all these sense gates. And it's through the qualitative and the quantitative balance that your clairvoyance opens, your clairaudience opens, your feeling opens, everything becomes more sensitive. So there's a lot of different methods and different traditions and how to get this qualitative balance. But the most important thing is interaction. Don't sit back and wait and listen and waiting for something to happen. That's not the method. Now, it's a preliminary method to create equanimity in eye consciousness, creating equanimity in feeling consciousness, and creating equanimity and sound and consciousness and so forth. These are essential concentration exercises to remove static, so your mind learns not to be engaging the sense gate rather than observing the sense gate. So there is preliminary training, but people can get substantial growth just simply through moving from applying will and energy movement to qualitative awareness backwards and forwards. But if you're going through Barden's book, there's a type of, how would we put it? There's a self-fulfilling prophecy. As soon as you enter into Hermetics, there is an expectation for the spiritual world to start opening up to you. And this self-fulfilling prophecy starts to fulfill itself. The spiritual world starts to open up. Your intuition starts to peak. You start to see things, you start to hear things, you start dipping one foot in the spiritual world where you've got one foot in the physical world, and there's an exchange of data. It's very important that as you develop these skills, that as something happens and you have a spiritual experience, if you want more of that experience, you have to welcome it in and look at what were the conditions upon which it arose, and how can I take ownership of this and amplify those conditions so that I get more of that particular skill set. And everybody is going to have different types of experiences, and it's a different mix of the gates, and it will be unique for you. And by journaling each of these bits of information, what was your physical body state when you had the experience? Where was your astral feeling body state when you had the experience? Where was your mental body state when you had the experience? What was the degree of stillness? How was it aligned? And when you replicate that alignment, you get the experience happening again. Now, is there any locality? Were you standing in a special place? Timing, was it the full moon? Environment, people around you. You'll very often experience other people's gifts. So if you're around someone who's very psychic, you'll start having psychic impressions while you're around that person. So look at your environmental circumstances, the timing, the location, and so forth, and people, and did they contribute towards the experience? And look at the causation. Everything that has an effect has karma, a cause to make that effect. What is the causation, the karma of the skill? If you mind map Franz Barden's book, it's all there. He gives very, very, very good instructions on how to achieve it. The few points I recommend is release time. There's this linear type of thinking that he presents in the book, and I think he did this to protect the information from unintuitive people. You can't go through this book in a linear way of thinking, one step at a time. It's water going down a river, it's a stream, it's a mind stream. Within one point are all the points. So you can be working on all the exercises together as a stream, and everything's rising together. And engage the fun stuff. If you like climbing to the top of a mountain and breathing the air element, go and do that. It's high quality practice. If you like to stand on a volcano and touch the warm earth and feel the molten lava and connect to the fire element and the fire spirits, go and do that. If you like sitting in a cave and earth element breathing, that excites you, go and do that. If you like going underwater and diving, go underwater. Do your water training there and connect to water spirits. Whatever gives you excitement, gives you passion, gives you that shamanistic nature magic feeling, that's what you should be doing. Following the book in a linear type of way, a linear progression, isn't always beneficial. You know, some people want to approach it systematically, but remember, Barden had to, he wrote that book during very troubled times, so he had to protect that information from unintuitive people. Intuitive people automatically see it's a mind stream. You from when you're in your mother's womb to death, the astral body is conscious. And it's thinking of the past, it's thinking of the future, it's connecting to future events, and it's connecting to past events all the time. So this mind stream, you change something in the mind stream, you change everything in front and behind the mind stream at the same time. When you have an experience that happens now, you change your relationship to the past and you change your relationship to the future by what happens now. And this is very, very important to understand. It's a stream. And you look at water going down a tube. You put your hand on the one end of the tube, there's suction. You put your hand on the other end of the tube, there's pressure. So you've got suction and pressure. You've got the past being affected and you've got the future being affected. And this is the nature of initiation. So it's released of time, and it is complicated. But when you get used to astral breathing, you'll have more aha moments. Go, of course, I have to fix this stuff in the past in order for me to have success in the future, by releasing, balancing, bringing past relationships to emotions into equanimity, past relationships to people into equanimity, environments into equanimity, and so forth. Okay, I'll leave it there for today, and thank you for your time, and we'll see you on the next video. Stay happy.